It's just insanity to me. She's doubling down on these communist policies. But what more would you expect from Kamala Harris and Heinrich Himmler here? You know, and what is it about that look from these communist people?
I think resonate with voters in their lives. I think we should have some more coverage and conversation about those actual substantive plans to help make sure that the country does hear more about the economic vision she's offering in contrast with Donald Trump's trickle-down.
So in an attempt to seem fair and objective, CNN had this interview with the Harris Walls ticket, a spokesperson from the Harris campaign, and Harris is essentially doubling down on all her communist policies and her agenda to deceive and lie to the American people. Let's take a look at this insane interview where CNN actually decided to do some real journalism for once.
She's been part of the Biden administration. She has been part of the Democrats have been in control of the country for the last 3 going on 4 years, and you are still seeing this in the polling. I mean, these working class voters are telling us right now that more of them are with Donald Trump than Kamala Harris. Why? What is it about what you guys have been doing for the last 3+ years that explains that?
Well, I think, again, we're trying to talk to the voters and explain this message. We've got 60 days until the election. We don't have time to sit around and think about why over the last few years certain things may have happened or may not have happened. We've got to go win an election. And the vice president's doing that by talking about her economic vision. And it's really different. It's really different. It's a new way forward, not only for the Democratic Party, but for
it's
the
really
country.
different. Okay, can you tell me what is really different? I got the capital gains rate, but what else on the list makes it really different from what was going on the past few years?
Sure, she wants to take in effect the first national law to take on corporate price gouging. She's talking about holding bad corporate actors accountable for their role in taking up prices on people at the grocery store, at the gas pump.
People need to understand how deranged and delusional this is. In other words, they're completely ignoring inflation. They're acting like it didn't even happen, it doesn't even exist, and they're, instead of taking accountability and speaking about the inflation, and they're gonna blame everything on corporate greed. This is what leftists do. They profit is evil to them, you know? And it's like, if you really think that these grocery stores are out here on groceries, which have 2 to 4% profit margins anyway, are out here taking advantage of people just randomly, then you are completely insane. It just shows the complete derangement and lack of accountability coming out of this campaign, and it's astonishing. Tax on capital gains rates, and then the other thing about corporate price gouging is so her answer is to create another government bureaucracy. We already have antitrust, which is supposed to go after monopolies and shit, the FTC, the SEC, all these regulatory bodies that are supposed to regulate the markets. And her answer is to create another one. Or it's crazy that they're just completely ignoring the double and triple, the doubling and tripling of the prices of things due to inflation. It's not because of corporate greed. This is insanity, man. It's basic economics 101, and I swear they don't have the ability to understand that the Harris ticket and the Democrats is what caused this. The whole time they're outright gaslighting the American people.
All across this country, there are distinctions here in this candidate's message that she is sharing with the country every single day, and she's out there on the trail doing it while Donald Trump's talking about trickle-down economics. And so
she's not sharing anything. She's going into these events and speaking the same speech over a teleprompter while she's ignoring the press. This is outright insanity, man.
I understand the pundit class wants to sit around and maybe have these conversations, but at the end of the day, this is a campaign and we're running to win, and she's running to win, and she's talking about the economy almost every single day on the campaign trail, and her plans to lower costs, whether it's in housing or groceries, her plans to give small businesses the tax incentives they need to start and the resources they need to get off the ground, a tax cut for middle-class families and working parents. These are the things that she's talking about.
These cosmic logic plans is what got us here in the first place. The Inflation Reduction Act, printing, at least 20% of the whole amount of the dollars that were in the market, printing more since 2020, like straight lowered, just that alone, lowered the value of the dollar from $1 to 80 cents, just the printing of the money. But we'll ignore all that and blame this on Trump and corporate greed. These are outright communist policies. I just can't believe she's doubling down on them.
Wow, that was a lot of word salad.
And then that's Donald Trump's trickle-down. There is no economist ever in their right mind that has ever mentioned this trickle-down economics theory. This is something that Obama mentioned, and then played up essentially to win his election. And they're trying the same thing here. But the fact is, you can't give the people a tax cut if the people don't have a job in the first place. And it's leftist policies that raise the corporate tax rate so high that it caused all these businesses to move overseas and move places where it was cheaper for them to operate because it just got too expensive here in America. So yes, by cutting corporate tax rates, it's gonna help everybody, but they're playing it as if this is just tax cuts for the rich, which is how the Democrats and Obama, it's how they always win their elections, is by outright deceiving the American people. This is next level gaslighting, man. This is where Fox actually pushes back on this guy.
Who has the right vision for the future? Are we ready? Are we going to keep doing what Donald Trump's been doing for the last decade, or are we going to turn the page and look forward?
Can you believe that? Can you believe they just said that? Are we going to keep doing what Donald Trump did for the last decade? Bro, and Sleepy Joe, and he and Harris is the cause of all this. But let's just blame it on the evil orange guy. It's unbelievable, man, that the tactics that this campaign is using is just outright unbelievable.
Well, but Ian, first of all, she hadn't done a lot of interviews, and saying debate prep's going well, yelling that to the pool is not just taking questions from the press. All your chips on one debate when she hasn't really been able to do any sort of Q&A with anybody except for in debate prep.
Unbelievable.
Well, I reject that. She sat down with Dana Bash for a long interview on CNN that aired
one interview in 47 days.
Right.
Well, I know you guys are just now paying attention to her now that she's the presidential candidate, but she's done about 90 interviews this year.
Like, excuse me, dude? Like, the entire mainstream media circuit has been non-stop paying attention to her and covering for her and lying for her. It's, oh my God, man, this is unbelievable.
The vice president, and people maybe weren't paying attention or listening. She's taken questions from reporters on the campaign trail so far in this campaign.
She's hiding from reporters. The other day she was asked questions by reporters and she put her headphones in and acted like she had a telephone call because she didn't want to answer any questions. This is outright pathetic, man, from Heimer Kimmler here.
We're covering her every single day. She's going to do more interviews and talk to the press more and take more reporter questions. Of course she's going to do that over the course of this campaign. But I think that she's going to explain to the country on Tuesday night what the difference in this election is and the choice between President Trump and her, and who has the right vision for the future. Are we ready? Are we going to keep doing what Donald Trump's been doing for the last decade, or are we going to turn the page and look forward to something else?
But Ian,
this election comes down to is sanity and reason gonna beat out radical leftism and the elites and the media establishment. That's what this election really is going to come down to. Are the people going to be smart enough to recognize this, like, elitist vision in disguise that Kamala Harris and their campaign brings? Or are they going to recognize who truly cares about America? Because these leftists, they don't care about America for real. This whole campaign has been a misinformation campaign and an attack on Donald Trump's character. And it's just completely mind-blowing, man, that we're even here in this situation.